Hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday evening with the sun absolutely streaming in behind me. It is amazing. The temperature here in southern British Columbia went all the way up to close to 80 today, just 80 Fahrenheit, by the way. For the rest of the world, it was up 26, 27 degrees. It was just incredible. That's Celsius. I have to speak both official languages. So welcome to you all. I almost feel like I've got an aura. And thank you for joining me as we talk about coping with life. And as you can tell, I've got some updates to give you on the indoor gardening. I've been hydroponically growing stuff, and I wanted to give you some tips on what to do and what not to do if you're thinking of doing it, and also to show you how easy it is to do. You don't have to buy a fancy machine, although I did get one just so I could try out and see how it works. Hi, Jonas, good to see you. Hi, Jody, good to see you as well. So, but before I started that, I just wanted to touch for a moment on the subject of, police killing innocent people. And the reason is because it's been in the news, and you know I'm a news hound. And I'm thinking, I spent a long time in Africa, and we could bring down anything from an antelope, if you like, to an elephant with a tranquilizer gun. And so my question is, rather than kill people, why don't we change what the cops have in their guns? And I know that was the idea of the Taser, but the Taser, I think is, I don't know, to me, the Taser is really pretty violent. Whereas a tranquilizer would just, and put somebody to sleep for enough time for them to handcuff them or do whatever they needed to do. They don't have to go through all these horrific things that they're going through, knees on their neck and all sorts of stuff. It's just like, why don't they do it in a better way? That's my question. So if any of you've got any comments on that, let me know. As we carry on, the subject this weekend that we're talking about is challenge. I have been well challenged this week. Jody, thank you for telling me that you think I look pretty. It takes a pretty person to see one, you know that. How do you, good question, Jonas. How do you mistake a yellow Taser for a black gun? Apparently they hold them, they're holstered in two different ones, right? So your dominant hand is your gun and your non-dominant is the Taser. And so, it is a very good question. But as I said, why don't they have tranquilizer pellets rather than, I'm going to kill you pellets, or these tranquilizer darts rather than, if you don't do, if you can't control your anger, then how about, do something different. Something has to change. If the US will not change its gun laws, then I believe, it's my belief, and I'm in, just my opinion, that they need to change what they've got loaded in those guns. I don't think we have to kill people the way that we're doing that. All right, just a bit of feedback for those of you who watch me at lunchtime. Hold on a sec. Where I was showing people at lunchtime, I have my bag of dough every day that I make, and that is how much dough I'm allowed. On my I've got this routine diet that I have. And I thought I'd show you that little bit of dough, when I cooked it up, made me this little mini loaf. All right. And I slice it this way, and it will last me for 2 days. And I have one slice or two of the center, and then, where I put peanut butter or something on it. And then the outside bits, the heels, I guess, I put, maybe some cheese and tomato on it and grill it. And so that becomes a little snack portion for me. But I thought I'd show you, that amount of dough makes a really nice size, slightly bigger than a dinner bun, and it works. Jonas is saying A taser also has a safety lock on it. I just think it's violent. Like a gun, I think it's violent. Why can't we find a non-violent way of restraining people? You know, like a net or something. You know, and this is the whole thing. If the US is not going to change its laws, then please change what you're doing. That's it. That's just my opinion. And we've all got one, right? Hi, Natasha. Good to see you. So there we go. That's what my dough makes every day. Let me get that back in. All right, and I've got two things that I am going to be showing you. If I remember, Jody, please keep reminding me if I forget. Number one is I had a request from Kimmy, and I'll wait for a while to see if she comes in, to show you guys some of my artwork that I've unpacked. And it's really it made my life very easy today, because I was wondering which two boxes will I unpack today. And when Kimmy said she wanted to see some of my art, I said, okay, let me unpack two of my artwork boxes. I'm a bit sad because I found one glass has broken, but you know, not a major. Wow. Jonas is saying he heard a loud sound outside his window, and all of a sudden he saw a truck crashed in a light pole at the four-way stop. Good job that you guys have still got electricity. And the police car came, the guy ran out of the truck, and then they tackled him. So they were chasing him then, I presume. Yeah. So anyway, first things first. You all know that I bought this little hydroponic garden. Has anybody not seen it? You all know what it looks like? And because what I wanted to show you is that you can, you know, buy the pods like this. Hang on a second. You can actually buy the little pods like this and just put them in a champagne flute. However, be aware that what will happen is, because the light can get to it, you're going to have algae problems. So what I do is every couple of days, I change the wine glass. What I will do is I'll take a new wine glass like this and take out the pod. Transfer the liquid, leaving the algae there, and then put that pod back in and put its little hat on. By the way, this is savory. Have any of you ever had savory? I've never heard it, but apparently it's really good in salads. So I decided I would grow some, and you probably can't see it. Don't get water into the computer. Can you see there's a tiny little showing there in the center? It's starting to grow, whatever it is. So I'm very excited about that. So that will go and get a good clean in the dishwasher. And then the next thing I wanted to show you, this one is got Jody's name on it. Jody, I got a couple of lemon seeds, and so this is lemon. Question for everybody: what shall we name the lemon? I've given it a name, and I want to see if you come up with a better one. Because if so, I will call the next one whatever you guys come up with. So, and all I did was put them inside, as I said, a piece of sponge that I just cut down the center so that I can get to the center of it. I cut down one side of it. Hang on, let me do that with one that hasn't got seeds in it, just for anybody who didn't see it. So I just cut the sponge up into little pieces. Here you go, Jody. I'm going to talk to you again. So you can actually talk with it, you see. But that's, and then I just put the seeds in here. By the way, I make sure this is good and damp first, and then I put the seeds in, and there it goes, and it works. All right, so Jodie's suggesting Liz Lemon. That's a good one. Oh, all right, are you ready for this one, Jodie? You're going to kick yourself, really. The next one will be Liz Lemon. In fact, I got 3 in here, so I'm looking for a third name. But the first one that comes out is Don Lemon. I don't know why that amused me. And for those of you who don't know who Don Lemon is, he's a news broadcaster. So I decided the first one that comes out is going to be called Don. The second one we're going to call Liz Lemon. And I need another L name for another lemon because hopefully all 3 of them will actually germinate. So that's good. I thought I would also show you. Last week I was showing you how I also use these little sponge things to hold up seedlings that were looking a bit leggy. All right. So and if you look at it, you see they were falling over like that, and I didn't like that. So what I did, praying that I won't mess them up now, was I just put them. There we go. Anyway, I just put them inside the sponge to support them. So they're growing nicely. Now then, I've got tomatoes that now, I don't know if you can see, but they've got roots coming out of them now. So there's part of me that goes, where am I going to, I'm wondering whether I should pull it out now and put it in earth, because obviously these are going to be, I think I could probably get them out of the sponge, but I could be wrong. Maybe I just plant them with the sponge, but I'm going to put 2 of them outside. And then I've got another one growing here, which is a bit smaller. Oops. Right, can you see that? This one is a little smaller. So I thought I'd leave this one inside to see how it did. And that's also got roots showing. Amazing. So exciting. All right. Now then, the thing I really wanted to show you, because I think it's so cute, is, let's see how many horticulturals do you know what that is? I just think it's such a pretty shape, don't you? It's just part of my fun in growing things is I just love the shape of things. And it almost, it has this tiny little new leaf coming, but that's the seed that I planted right on top there. Yeah. And this is a spinach. Yeah, it looks like a bean. Hi, Charles. It looks like a bean, doesn't it? But it's spinach. And so I called this one Spandau because it was the only thing I could think of that started with SP. If anybody's got any other names, it will save me calling the next one, which actually doesn't look quite as healthy. This is baby Spandau. Yep, so this is the same thing. It's also spinach. You see that? Unusual way that it grows. And you can see it's been going towards the light, so I'll turn it around here. Sparkle the spinach. Yeah, here we go. So we'll call one Spandau and one Sparkle. Thank you very much, Charlotte. I appreciate that help. Charlotte, so exciting. I've got to tell you, I told the people at lunchtime, but you weren't here. Dougie sent me a code so that I can enter into the Vancouver Marathon, because it's now digital, and I'm trying to decide, what I want to do, whether I want to do the 5K, the half marathon, or a full marathon. Now, you all know that I've got I think you have all month to complete it. So if that is true, then I'll go for the full marathon. But I'm waiting to talk to Dougie and just get more confirmation before I register. But I'm going to go into a marathon, people, without leaving my home. Isn't that exciting? And Charlotte, I knew you would appreciate that. All right, so Don Lemon goes away, and we will wait for the second one's Liz Lemon, right, if it comes up. And we'll get a third name if a third one comes up. So that's good. All right, now then, the other thing was last week you watched me put this head of lettuce that I just cut off like that on top of a sponge. And there you go. That's how much it's grown already. It's already grown an inch. Amazing. Just on a sponge. And every now and then I will press it down like this so that the sponge absorbs more water. Laurie, hi Sandy, Laurie Lemon. Okay, make a note, please, Jody. I will need these names. And then this is another one that I did this week. Look at how nicely that's growing on a sponge. And this one, growing. What I did with this one is I cut the sponge in half, just so that it would support this and hold it more straight. Isn't that amazing? And look how nicely it's growing. Now I'll wait until it's got roots, and once it's got roots growing, I will then plant it, okay? And I'm going to show you that. I was showing them at lunchtime, but I need to, Jonas, I'll come back to that question. Good question. This is Cory the cabbage, remember that? Look at this. Look at his roots. Isn't that amazing? So he's obviously loving it. And what I was saying at lunchtime is the reason I want to grow them like this is when I'm making a stir fry or something, I just want to be able to take one lettuce leaf, or one cabbage leaf, or maybe two young ones, and then just throw them into a stir fry. And it looks like I'll be able to do that. For those of you who watched Boy George and the Culture Club, here we go. This is Bok Choy, the Boy George the Bok Choy. And he's actually thoroughly enjoying it. And I think we've got roots coming here as well. Yep. So the roots are beginning, then not as big, but they are beginning. So what you do is all the time you're waiting for this to grow roots, you keep the water level up, all right? Once the roots start to show, you just leave it alone because the roots will follow the water down. And then every now and then I'll just give it a little bit of nutrient, but that's literally, it's growing in a Tetra Pak. How difficult is that, people? So there's my indoor garden. And now I've started herbs. And Jonas is saying that Boy George even looks like him a little bit. All right, you see, and Ash is saying, and here I thought plants can only grow in soil alone. I'm glad I'm learning something new. You know me, I'm always playing at new experiments. Now, would you like to see how the ones that I've got growing in the nursery? Because now, once I've got them growing, like this tomato, I want to now take it outside and plant it in my nursery garden. And my nursery garden, oops, get the roots back in. My nursery garden, for that I need my phone, hold on. What did I do with my phone, people? At least I've got a house phone now. going to find my phone. Maybe. Hold on a second. And that is why I still have a house phone. Okay. All right. So what I was showing you is once they start to grow roots that look strong, I then take them outside. That's my new plan, right? Take them outside to my nursery area. And thought I would show you what's happening in the nursery area. Come on now. Oops. So first of all, that is a lettuce, a butter lettuce. That is, I used up half the leaves working from the outside in, and the rest of it I have just planted so it can continue to grow. But you can see those containers around it. There I have got peas, beans, zucchini, another cabbage, and a leek, all growing around it at the moment, right? So they're outside under the protection of the deck. So exciting. Oh, and then some more different lettuces there. You can see in the corner there are more different lettuces, but don't go anywhere. Because I also have more of them growing. Oops. I don't know if you can see that. So I've got 2 other butter lettuces left over from store-bought, but I used half of it and then I'm letting the rest grow. And underneath it, you will see some lettuce seedlings that I'm growing there. Getting so exciting. And on the other side, I have all sorts of different lettuces growing. Now, I bought the seedlings because I knew it was going to take too long for my seedlings to germinate and start growing. So the first batch is already growing. And what I do, and I want to tell you, it is amazing. When I want to make my salad, I take my bowl to the lettuces. And I literally take a couple of leaves of this one, and you know, I've got a whole variety of arugula and all sorts of lettuces there, and I'll take a leaf of this one and a leaf of that one. And, you know, I'll take some very young leaves of romaine that I've got there. And do you understand? And what I want to be able to do is just keep doing that. And then I come inside and you will see this is a mint plant, and what I will do, you can see I've cut this mint all the way down. Every day I just, you know, keep cutting down, and I add a couple of mint leaves to my salad. It gives it such a great flavor. And as I think you know, I put it in my water. I put lemon and lime and mint leaves in my water every day. So what I'm excited about is I'm getting pretty close to being able to not have to buy lettuce. That's what the goal is this year, to work out how many lettuces do I need on the go for me to be able to constantly harvest them. These lettuces I won't put in the garden because lettuce doesn't like it too hot. So I will grow some hydroponically here on the countertop, but most of them I will grow on the deck because that will be cooler. Kimmy, you asked, and what I did was I unpacked some of my artwork today. So just because you asked. All right, so there we go. And I think you'll agree that that's quite a lot of progress in 2 weeks. All right. Corey, the cabbage we started in the other place, so this is probably a month. But this is the literally the center of a cabbage. That when I finished the cabbage, I just put it on some wet paper towel and let it grow roots. And once it grew roots, I cut it up into different, it was Corey the cabbage and the rest of the band, but the rest of the band didn't make the move very well. So literally, this cabbage has cost me nothing. So. All right, now what was that question that Jonas asked me? Hang on a second. Let me go back, make sure if I answered it or not. Can't remember. I know he asked me a question, so I want to double check. What did you ask there, Jonas? Huh. Okay, Jonas, I can't find it. I know you asked me a question. Oh, about the marathon. Thank you. How do I do that virtually? Today, all the major marathons are digital, which means that you can do your own marathon at home. You enter, you register, you pay the price to enter. And then I think, if I'm correct, if I understand Dougie correctly from what he told me already, is the rest of it works on an honor system. And so obviously for the serious runners, they have a different system, but basically you just run. Kimmy, if you're about to charge your computer, that means you won't be back in time to see the artwork. So just know it will be in this broadcast. All right. So, or maybe you can charge it while it's still on. I don't know. Mine is charging all the time. So, Jonas, so you literally just go online and you register. Where do I run? I run in my home. I literally go like this. I do what I call a walking run. Do you know what I mean? I can't remember what they call that. It's not quite a walk. It's more than a walk. It's like a, like this. Not quite a jog either. So I'm, and I have a Wii machine which calculates how much I've done. But you can just literally do it on your watch or anything else. And I think what they do, because they want people doing that exercise at home and they want people to enjoy it, I think all you do is you literally run whatever it is, and then you log in to say you've done this much. I also believe that, if I'm correct on this, and I'll give you more information when I get that from Doug, that you have a month to do it in. All right, so that you can run the marathon anytime between the Vancouver Marathon between May 1 and May 30. 30 days have September, April, June, May 31. You can run the marathon anytime in that time, or the half marathon, or the 5K. What I'm trying to find out from Doug is, do I have to do it all in one day? I understand that I can do it any time in the month, but do I have to do a half marathon in one day? Or because, I'm pretty sore at the moment from unpacking, can you do it in bits? So if I can do it in bits, I definitely will go for the half marathon and probably the full. So here we go. Right. Today we were talking about challenging things being challenging. And I wonder if any of you have had a challenging week as well. It was just like suddenly this week was very challenging for me on all sorts of levels. And, you know, if you happen to listen to the lunchtime broadcast later, you will find out why. Things that made me, at one point, I was almost in tears. I don't mind telling you. It was like, I'm not sure how much of this I can cope with this week. And I think part of the reason, my phone's telling me that Sal phoned you. Yeah, well, hi, Sal, thank you. I found the phone, thank you very much. You know, so to me, it's about, excuse me, it was just very challenging on a lot of levels. And at one point, I nearly broke down in tears. And then something really strange happened. It hasn't happened for a while. I got an ocular migraine. And that's when your vision splits. You feel slightly nauseous and your vision splits and you know, you can't see properly. And so what I had to do was go, okay, apparently I am more tired than I know. And so what I did was force myself to just stop and go to bed or lie down and just take it easy, which, you know, I don't do very easily. But I did do that, and I feel a lot better today. I am, as saying at lunchtime, I'm very sore. All my bones are very sore from all this unpacking. You know, you don't realize just how much it takes, even to, well, unpack what you think are 2 boxes a day, because, you know, I end up unpacking way more than 2, but then more come in. You know, Amazon keeps delivering. All right, so I've got 3 groups of paintings. I've got a group here, a group there, and a group over there. So Kimmy, you get first choice. Which group would you like me to pull a painting from? And what I want to do is talk to you a little bit about how I did it, when I did it, why I did it. And, you know, give you a bit of history. I also have some small art on the floor there, but I'm pretty sure you've all seen the small art. So, all right, Kim, 1, 2, or 3? Which group? And if I don't get an answer pretty soon, it means you're away from your computer. And so somebody else is going to get the call. All right. Anybody? And I will show them all if you want to see them all. But what I did is I just put them in different groupings because they're all slightly different in the way that they're grouped. Hi, Sharon. Group 1. What group 1's this one? Okay. So, and some of you have seen these before, but just do it again. This is done on a piece of flip chart paper. That's what it is. A piece, you see it? It's flapping. It's actually, my goal is to get a piece of hardboard behind it and actually mount it. I think this is called the Donna Dewberry. Method that I learned how to do. And I love it. Actually, it suits me very well because I love doing roses and flowers. So that's that one. So literally, you know me, it's like if I haven't got canvas, what have I got? And I had flip chart paper that day. So I did that. And then I found I had this big frame. And I don't know about you, but I think the 2 of them go quite well together. I love this one. I call it cappuccino. I love this one, and I have tried to redo it about 10 times. Flip chart paper. You know when you have a big flip chart that you write on at work? Yeah, one of those. This is cappuccino, and I did it, wow, a couple of years ago now, I guess, Jody. And again, I couldn't find the canvas. So what I did is I went to the dollar store and I bought a picture this size, and then I painted over it. So don't you love it? It's got so many details on it. I just love it to bits. It's one of my favorites. So that's cappuccino. I'm going to pray that all my paintings don't fall as I do this. And these are two that I did, and they're done on MDF. This is one. Okay. So I didn't give this one a name, but I really enjoyed it. And I can't remember what I did that with, but I know this one I did with a hairdryer. Also with that cappuccino group of colors that I've got. And while I talk about that, this one, yes, it does look like that, doesn't it? Anyway, this one I also did with a hairdryer. I poured the paint onto the canvas and then blew it with a low speed hairdryer. Okay. And again, this is on a painting that I bought at the dollar store because it's a much cheaper way to buy canvas. And then painted over the picture. All right, so we've got those done. Now this one, has a big history. I painted this one, and it took a lot of paint and a lot of time. And at the end of it, I thought, I don't understand what happened. But I was a bit disappointed. And then I walked around to the other side of the painting. So my next vision was to see it this way. And I don't know if you can see what I saw, which is an eagle's wing, an eagle's head, and another eagle wing, an eagle swooping down. And now I love it. And that's going above my mantelpiece now. It was one of those, what I love about doing this sort of art is you never know. You never know what you're going to end up with. It's God-given, I didn't intend it to become an eagle. And as I said, I was so disappointed because I went, after all that work, I haven't got anything. And then I looked the other way and I went, I'm so sorry. Good job. All right, so those are those. This one I want to show you because I want you to remember that sometimes in life, your accidents turn out to be wonderful. This was a painting I did very early on, and I didn't like it because the paint sort of cracked, but I love it now. Yes, Jonas, I agree. It is like a Rochard chest. Everybody sees something different. All right, so this one, I don't know what you all see in this one, but I love it, and it's now one of my favorites. Isn't that interesting? It was a total mess when I did it. Hi, Aaron. So that's it. And Sharon? talking about fabric, I was saying at lunchtime, I've just found some fabric that I think has been traveling with me for 30 years, or at least 20, and I still haven't thrown it up. Anyway, so I love this one. It reminds me of what you see when you're flying, you know, and you can see the clouds below you. And so I love that one. This one, whoops, where's the light? Let me get away from the light. This one, oh, I don't think you can see it probably as well. Can you? If I take that light off, maybe. Hang on a second, let me just change that angle. No, let me turn that off for a second. Maybe you can see it better. Oh, different color light. There you go. I love it. It's, you know, it's funny when you do art. Sometimes you love them and sometimes you don't. This reminds me of coral, and that's why I love it. And I found, like a lot of things in life, this was done just on a bit of, I'm not joking, copy paper, I think. But by the time you've done it and framed it, this is what you can create, right? And you do know I don't consider myself an artist, right? This is the big joke. Everybody laughs at me and they go, what? And I said, no, I just play with paint. Okay, so that's that one. This one I did also in the Donna Dewberry style. All right. And this I did in 2005. Again, on copy paper. And you can see that when they took it apart to clean it after the fire, they didn't put it back straight. So I need to do that. I love this one as well. And so anybody who tells you, you know, you have to have expensive canvases and what else, yeah, no, you don't. You know, you just need to paint. If you like to paint, paint. That's what I say. Although I must warn you that sometimes the best paintings you will do will be the ones you do on non-canvases. This one is still one of my all-time favorites. This one will hang in my bedroom. Anybody want to know how I did it? And it was, again, I wasn't sure if it would work, but it did. And I'm going to frame it. So I just think it has so much movement in it. And I really do love it. So, by the way, it had a major problem. It had a major problem where the paint was too thick on this side and it cracked. And all I did was refuse to see it as ruined. I went in and I filled the cracks with corresponding paints. And I don't think you'd be able to see it. No. Anyway, so, you know, it's called about, it was just so pretty that there's no way I was going to ruin it. And so then I just went, it's worth the time now to fill in where the cracks were and end up with that. Can you actually feel the flow of the water? You know, it's like the tide came in and now it's pulling back, leaving the foam. I just love this one. This is just, you know, again, everybody likes different art, so I'm not sure which way round. I try. I try not to sort of consider which way it is, because I think different people will like things a different way. I actually like this one like this, and I see a face here of an animal, an eye, and that's its mouth. Here you go, another rosha, right? It's like a horse. It's its ear. You see that? So it gives me joy. And this was another one that wasn't doing all the right things when I was painting it, done on MDF board. And the funny thing was that when it was wet, I didn't like it. And then it dried, and I did like it. So it survived. I call it cotton candy. Because I love the coloring up here where it sort of fades through the blues back into the white. Okay, so that's that one. Another favorite. This one also done with a hairdryer. And it actually takes a lot of time to do, you know, because you're dropping down the paint and then you're pushing it, and then you drop down more paint and you push it. And then at the bottom here, I did a ribbon of paint and then pushed it up. But I love the lacing effect here. You see this? It's like a cat with two ears. There its eyes. And by the way, thanks to Jody and Lauren, who supported me the time that I was learning how to do this technique. It takes a lot of failure to get it right, and I was very happy. Now then, going back a bit here, the next three I'm going to show you are actually also done in 2005. This glass is broken, but let me show you the picture first. Oh. Okay. I don't know if you can see the head here of this is a seahorse. And I did this one. Oh, I'm going to show you all three, and then I will talk to you about them. They were all done a similar way, so that's why I want to show them together. I call this one Hummingbird. Yeah. Yeah. And you see the beak here, and then its wings and its tail. It's heavy. But I call it Hummingbird. And if you look very carefully, you see these bubbles in here? I want to talk about that in a second because it's important. And the last in that series is this one, which is very heavy, but definitely one of my all-time favorites. And I call it Peony. And this one will now go in my bedroom as well, because my bedroom will be the blue paintings. Now then, the reason I wanted to show those three is because those last three, with the bubbles in and the peony, were all came from one painting that I took a picture of with my camera. And then when I was looking at it, I literally, see if I can show you what happened. It was a painting I did of a bouquet of flowers. And what I did is I noticed that just here, like it was like if you took a magnifying glass and just put it over that section, I could see the peony. And it wasn't, it was something completely different in the main picture. And so what I did was I took that square inch and I blew it up and it became the peony. The hummingbird was actually some petals on the original painting, and I changed the color scheme till I liked what the colors were. And then I had that blown up into that size, a poster size. And the do not fall. And also with the seahorse. And so what I want to remind you of is most of these started off as failures in some way. This was a piece of off-cut MDF, all right? It was not meant to look as nice as this. I just had some leftover paints and I threw it on there. So the challenge is to actually sit down and do it. You know I love it, right? You know that when I do it, I get covered in paint. It takes a lot of paint to create something like the eagle. A lot of paint. That's not a little paint. That's like probably nearly, I would think almost a gallon of paint by the time I'd finished. Yeah, half a gallon anyway. And also, I think you all know that I play with different additives. Sometimes I will throw in some WD-40 to get those cells going. And sometimes I will throw in treadmill oil to get those, the lacing effect or whatever. And each one, I can't remember now what they all do because, it's been over a year since I've done any. But that's really, the fun of it is not knowing for me. The fun of it is, what is this going to look like? The peony I remember doing with a brush that I took. Do I have a paintbrush? Hang on. I had a badly used paintbrush. This one obviously is not one of mine. I do not leave my paintbrushes looking like this. This is one Wade used and returned to me. But my paintbrushes come back clean when I do them. But never mind. The thing is that it would look like this. It wasn't nice and everything on the edges. And I cut it. I can't remember the shape I cut it. But then I did the center of that flower just with, half of it in white and half of it in blue. And obviously there was a touch of red in there somewhere. So a slight pink must have come into the white. But anyway, maybe I didn't clean the brush properly. Another mistake. And then all I did was go like this in the center of this flower. And then when it dried, I realized that it looked like petals. And I went, oh, that is so beautiful. And I took it up to my local store that enlarges photographs. It does your passport photo, and they also do enlargements. I said, how big can you do this? Because I love it. And this is, again, it's just done on poster paper. It's not done on canvas. And I've lost the original now. And so be it. Makes that one worth more, right? That print. It's one of one. So the challenge is to do enough failures for it to look like a collection of art. Any questions? And you understand what I mean about do enough failures to get an art collection. By the way, this is not the art collection. This is the first 2 boxes of many of my art collection. And wait a minute, hang on a second. And knowing what I know about failures can turn out to be great art if you just need to look at it in a different way. This is a box full of different things. Jody, you will remember a lot of these because you will have seen them when I was doing them, but this is when I was first trying out the different methods of paint. Now, what additives to put with the paint. And so again, if you think about it, if I took that part of it, what do you see here? Oh, it looks like a fairy now. What do you think? So what I will do is I will turn this into a card, right? Because it'll make a beautiful card. And see what else I've got in here. Yeah, see, I've got so many of them. These are all purpley type ones, but all just done on copy paper, but I was trying out different techniques on them. And I just didn't ever throw them away because they pleased me in some way. And again, make a very pretty card, just frame it. And when I say frame it, these are do I have that one? Hold on a second. No, but once I've got my die cutter working again, I will just make make a hole that I can slide the artwork in behind it, and it will be like a picture frame made into a card. Do I still have the tiny squares? I don't know, Jody. If you had asked me 6 months ago, I would say yes. Do I still have them? I don't know. So, it's just like every day I tried something different, and some of them I didn't like at all, and some of them I did. I love the starkness of that. It reminded me of, oh, what sort of paint do I use? Whatever I can find, Kim. A lot of this is done with house paint. A lot of it I did with house paint. See, that'll make a pretty card as well. Get the light off it. Hang on. Ah! Okay. See that better without the light, I think, right? So that'll make a really pretty card. But it is, you know, when you watch people do it, it looks really easy. And I will tell you from my experience, and Jody will be a witness. I've probably got, see how simple that is. I've probably got hundreds of these where I was playing with it until I got to do something like the eagle. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. I am aware, you know, for example, put that into a frame and it will look stunning. The trick is to have enough money to make the frames. How about those clouds in there? So, but what I do is when, yes, the birch tree one, that's what I think it is. I've got a red, silver, and black in that, and it's beautiful. I don't know where it is, but it's in here somewhere. And so, but again, I have got enough to put frames on these and then, you know, literally have a gallery showing. I like this one as well. Not quite sure which way I like it, but I did. I remember liking that one. And very similar. But you know, to try and do it a second time, yeah, right. Go whistle Dixie on that one. Okay, so those are all birds. Now, what have I got here? These things. And it's also, what is your favorite color combination, all right? So, you know, some people really like the turquoise type ones. So what I do is I sort of, when I'm making cards for people, I just, you know what their color schemes are like. So I try and give them one that suits their color scheme. So those are all blues. Try and get that. Here we go. I've got some red ones. It's this one. Okay. Needs a frame. Isn't that beautiful? So to me, part of what I'd like to do is to actually spend some time. The idea, this is the interesting thing, the idea was that in the storage shed behind here, I have all the woodworking equipment to make my own frames. That was the idea. And that's what I wanted to learn how to do. So, but you can talk to anybody who's tried this. It is one of those techniques that looks, when you see people doing it, it looks like, oh, that's so easy. Anybody can do that. And the answer is, I remember somebody saying that to me. You know, that's so easy to do. Anybody can do that. And I go right ahead. Yeah. What size are the cards? It depends. Normally I do them. I normally do them sort of this size, you know, and I just happened to buy the stock. This is what I bought when I didn't have my cutting machine. But what I will do is with my die cutter, Hang on a second. With my die cutter, I will cut a frame out here. All right, and then I will stick the part of the the part of the picture that I like. I will stick it behind, and then cut it to fit. And then I will put a liner over the top of that. So if they want to keep the artwork, they can. But that's how I do it. So there we go, art. And again, hang on a second. This was a piece of wood I found somewhere, and I painted that on it. By the way, the people that bought my house really loved one of my paintings, so I left it for them. This I did. How many of you like this sort of idea? And Kimmy, this is really easy to do. And literally what I did was I had a tray and I just put some white paint down first. And over the white paint, I just dropped in some red and some blue, obviously. And then I just smidged it a little bit. And then I put the canvas down on top of it. And then I put the canvas down all the sides like that. And then that is how it came out. Echinacea is what I see, if you know the plant. I don't know why I see echinacea, but that's what I do. So the question is, am I an artist or am I somebody that likes to play with paint? And I am pretty certain that I could sell that if I wanted to. By the way, Jody, the gloss on it, if you remember, that's something called Tri-Art gloss, and I haven't been able to find it again. I've been looking for it in case I go back to doing it, but I love the gloss on that. It's just like a mirror finish on it, right? Such a high gloss for yeah. It almost looks like it's got a glass in front of it, which it hasn't. It's so good. Now, the trick now is to actually get brave enough to maybe sell some of them. You know, literally put them in frames and then sell them locally. That would be nice. I wonder if I'll do it. Because, as you all know, the eagle deserves a really good frame. This is just a really cheap frame on it right now, but I might take that and have it properly framed because I believe it deserves a correct frame. Kimmy, I did answer that, the kind of paint I use, mostly house paint. I also use whatever paint I can find. I buy paint at Walmart, I buy paint at the dollar store, but with the amount of paint that I use, I'm inclined to buy it in bigger amounts. The whites I will buy by the gallon, the black I will buy in big amounts as well. And one of the things that you probably have noticed is, oh, this one I haven't. But most of my paintings I have painted in gray at the back. And the question is why? Because if you take all the runoff paint and put it into one can, it becomes gray. And being me, I hate to waste paint. So it's like, oh, what can I do with gray paint? And let me show you what I do sometimes with gray paint. Hold on. Coffee, and no, I think that is a English custard powder can. You know, it's just like amazing the things that you can do if you want to. I'm keeping all my, hold on a second. Just so you know, I keep my coffee tins, and the reason is they will become Christmas boxes for people. All right? If you can imagine this with a really nice Christmas ribbon on it, with a really nice bow, either this way or over the top of it with a really nice bow, it makes a really great container to give people cookies and homemade stuff. Now, I've got to clean up here because I promised to show you how to make this ice cream. I can do this. Hold on. This will go back to my living room. Okay, just hold on 1 second because I will tidy these up after the broadcast. I just need to get them safe and out of the way. Put this together. Well, you know, it's interesting because Nyasha is saying that it's abstract art. Yes, it is. But it is funny, isn't it, that the best thing I could do for my art is to have somebody else sell it, not me. One of my friends said to me, some of these bits of art that I've done, you know, one of the things they say, if you want to know how much to sell a painting for, do the measurements. And in other words, if that is a 20 by 16, then you do the math on that. I normally do that math and then halve it. But another friend of mine said you need to do that math and put an extra nought on it, so because some of that is stunning, and people will appreciate it and pay the money for it. I actually like doing the big ones. And I didn't get to tell you, but the blue one, what did I do with it? Disappeared. This one, it took a long time. And I started off, if you can imagine, with a dark on this side, from the center point down this way, and then pale blue on this side. Got it? And then I put in some black. And then I think I put some silver on this side. And then finally, I did in about 3 different lots. I actually poured white paint down it, and then I started to tilt it. And I think this took me probably 3 hours to do this. And then, of course, I had the problem with the paint being too thick. but I love it because the talent is not mine. And that's what I've got to say. That I literally can hear what I need to do. All right. And that's why I was so completely confused with the eagle, because I kept saying, you kept telling me to do this and turn this and do this and do this. It looks like, you know what? And then I remember hearing the voice say, you're not looking at it the right way. And I went, what? And I got up from where I was sitting looking at it. And I walked around to the other side, and then I saw the eagle, and I went, I am so sorry. It is brilliant. Thank you. All right, now here then, those of you who want to know, this is really simple. I saw this online, and I didn't believe it. So, you know, I had to try it. And one frozen banana. All right, that's all it is, a frozen banana. Everybody is allowed to eat that, right? And then whatever fruit you fancy, be that you know, strawberries, whatever. I happen to have some frozen raspberries. Right? Whatever's in season. Now, you can stop right there, and you can just mix this up in your process or whatever you've got. I found that adding whipping cream turns it into absolutely amazing. So I put in about half a cup of whipping cream. And I'm just going to walk away to where my ninja is. Hold on a second. It's going to get noisy. What you do is you blend it a bit, shake it a bit. Probably needs a bit more cream in it. But you get the idea. You just keep whipping it up. That's fun. And then it's not fully done, but for the sake of time, I want to show you. it makes the most awesome raspberry ice cream. It's so good. And Jody, banana, raspberries, and a bit of whipping cream. And right, so now I need a little bit more whipping cream to get this to work, but literally I've got a bowl of ice cream here. And it's awesome. So I'm going to put that back in the freezer so that I can finish it later. But I wanted to show you how simple is that. And Jody, carb-wise, not very bad, right? About 1 carb for the cream. It's also your fruit intake for the day, if you want it to be. Really good. And by the way, you can't taste the banana. Isn't that weird? Doesn't taste the banana at all. So, sorry to eat, but you know I'm not leaving it, right? There are carbs in the banana, that's what I thought. So normally I only use half a banana. That's why I had difficulty getting it to blend. Because I would probably need a cup of whipping cream with it. But I had a full banana in there. But I want to tell you, it feels like I'm eating some sort of really high-class ice cream. If you served me this, I would gladly pay the money. You know what I mean? It doesn't taste like, what do you call it? Sorbet. It doesn't taste like that. It doesn't taste like frozen yogurt. It tastes like a really expensive ice cream. So all you need is a smoothie maker of some sort, a blender, and some fruit, and a bowl, and some whipping cream, heavy cream, I think you guys call it in the States. Call it whipping cream up here, you know, because we're in Canada. So I want to know whether you guys like those sort of, you know, I thought I might do some healthy hacks on Friday evenings for you, if you guys like that sort of stuff. Yes, and that's the whole thing. I was thinking about buying one of those frozen dessert makers, and I thought, I think I've got one. It's called a blender. You know what I mean? You just got to look at it a different way and go, don't buy the machine. You probably already got the machine. Because any blender will do it, as long as it can, is strong enough to do ice, would be the criteria, I think. You know, if your blender can crush ice, then that's really all that it is. It's frozen fruit. But adding the cream to it gives it that that really decadent taste that I really recommend. It's awesome. All right, so challenges. I've got a challenge, and I wondered whether you guys can help me. I found out, to my joy, that command hooks make floating shelves. Did you know that? Where literally it is a floating shelf that is held up by command hooks, and they sell it as a unit. And I'm going, that's exactly what I want for my walls to put my artwork up, because you know, if I could have sort of those little shells about this big, I could put, you know, I can put artwork like this on it. I can put the bigger art on it. And then, but I'm really scared to use command hooks for some reason. So could people please tell me your experience of command hooks? Do they really hold as well as they say they do? In other words, have you put up picture frames of that size with command hooks? Even if it's like wall-to-wall command hooks all the way around. The reason that I want to know is it would be a great solution. What I want to be able to do is rotate my art. And if I had command hooks, not the hooks, but you know, the yeah, I think that's what they're called, the sticky thing. Then I could put artwork throughout my house and change it on a regular basis for every season. All right, so Jodie's saying she hasn't used them for pictures. She's used them for holiday lights. Yes, I've used them for light stuff. All right, so Kimmy's saying yes, and sometimes they do hold for a while, light things. Well, I have bought the shelf, and I have also bought the ones that they specifically make for holding big paintings. I am terrified to try it, but you know, if I don't try it, then none of us will learn, right? Because we will all just stay scared of it. So how did you use the light, just the regular sort of command hooks, or did you use the heavy duty ones that are made for heavy pictures, Kimmy? And if anybody is watching this on the replay, I am really interested to know if anybody has used these successfully for artwork. My main question, I guess, is even when they come off the wall, did it damage the wall? All right. Obviously, it could damage the painting. If that fell, it would damage the glass. So therefore, that one I probably would still hand on the regular system. Yeah, it depends on the surface. I'm talking flat walls. I'm not talking stucco or anything. I'm talking just regular painted walls. And they're, flat. So, but it would be really nice, wouldn't it, to be able to put these, even though I've got hooks that I put on these that I can use, but it would be nice to sort of put them this way if I wanted to somewhere else. And what I would like to do, my goal, I don't know if any of you are doing this, but my goal is now, I need to show you guys, hang on, because we've got a lot of new people here. You know, when I was moving from hotel to hotel and stuff, I bought rolling carts so that I could do that. And each time I moved, I had more to take with me. Well, I was trying to work out, a good use for them. And what I've decided is to use them for my seasonal clothes. And so this one has got my winter clothes in, and it's perfect. And it'll go into the bottom of my closet and stay there until I swap it out and bring it out for fall, winter. So twice a year, I will swap the clothes out. Part of me would like to be able to swap my clothes out every season, but I'm sort of a mix and match sort of person, all right? I will go from wearing this into wearing tank tops and blouses over the tank top sort of thing. So each season I have a different sort of combination of what I wear. And what I want to do is to get into the habit of taking out half my clothes and take it out by color. In other words, keep the reds, keep the oranges for fall, because I do have oranges, keep the reds for winter, and, just literally start being more aware. I've got enough clothes to be able to do it. And so that is my challenge to myself. Can I put half my clothes away twice a year? And it's just, I'm certain that all of you do it, and I'm the only one that doesn't. I keep my clothes out all year, most of the time. But, this is like part of my new system that I'm going, okay, I'm going to put my clothes away, and then I'll be happy to see it come the cooler time again. And it's a good use of the rolling carts. But what I was thinking as well was, I'm pretty sure some of you thought, but what happens if you want to travel? Well, we're not traveling anymore. But if I needed to, how long will it take me to empty that into a box or something while I travel and then put everything back again when I come back? Not very long. I've got boxes. I got boxes coming out of my gizmos, literally. I have turned, actually, you've got to remind me, because the other half of my artwork is sitting in as a headboard. Now that I've emptied these boxes, I'll be able to move my bed away from the wall and get the heavy boxes that are behind my bed out. And then put these empty boxes and use that as a headboard. I'm thinking about covering it all in flocati. Make a really great headboard, don't you think? Look really nice against that dark wall. I'm quite excited. And, if I get the flocati thing from Wish, for next to nothing, why not? That and a staple gun, I'll be away to the races. I've had a problem with scammers this week, people. Let's hope it's not a scammer. You remember the call I got at lunchtime? The guy found his documents. Dale, the electrician. So I look at life and go, it's been a challenging sort of week for me. And I think what was challenging was that I didn't have the strength in a lot of cases to do the things I wanted to do. And Jody, I know that you know this story, but it was very frustrating for me not to be able to have the strength to do what I wanted to do. And then last night, when I went to bed, I got this ocular migraine, and by the time I'd sort of rested and then decided, okay, now it's time for me to go to bed, I thought I'd check in to see how many steps did I actually do yesterday. It was over 9,000. Over 9,000. I'm pushing myself is what I'm doing. It's no wonder my body is sore. I'm doing more than I think I am. And the other thing I do want to say is that changing your shoes every 4 hours is a really good idea. It just uses different muscles and it feels different. However, I am definitely aware of whatever it is that I have tweaked. I think it's my sciatic nerve or whatever. But it's, it's bearable. It could be a lot worse. So when you look at challenges, Victoria Adino said, never run from the enemy, tackle them. For those of you who know Jeannie, who was in our lunchtime broadcast, she had something really incredible happen, and I want to talk about it because it is wonderful to hear when somebody uses the strategies we talk about to get themselves out of a tight situation. It was amazing to me that what happened is she is about to move back into her house in about a month. And for some reason, the insurance people forgot to extend her time in the apartment where she's living for the extra month. And you can imagine that was a pretty big shock. Like 1 minute they're looking forward to moving into their new home, and the next minute they're about to be homeless by the end of the month. And what Jeannie said that really was so impressed with was that she said, Sal, I use the techniques you've taught me. In other words, she realized that she was just, getting on the hamster wheel and panicking, and that wasn't helping anybody, right? It wasn't getting her anywhere. And she said, I just had to stop and then take control and go, what needs to be done? And, and she also knew it wasn't her problem. It was the problem of the insurance people that hadn't extended it. So she just phoned them and said, I know you're going to make a plan. Let me know what the plan is. And shame, she's going to live in the Hilton for the last 4 weeks, which is, where she started. And I understand that. So you look at it and you go, isn't it wonderful that the techniques that she knew that it wasn't her problem, right? And it was just like, yes, well done. And when you can see that how we panic is up to us, right? It's on us, however much we panic. They put up, I was saying at lunchtime, they put up, blackout curtains in my bedroom. And the only problem was that when they'd finished, you got to see this, guys, it wasn't quite as I imagined. And if any of you've got blackout curtains, you know what it looks like. And I'm pretty sure it doesn't look like that. Quite artistic though, right? So I went, yeah, that's very pretty. I see an awful lot of light. And luckily I'm a problem solver because I actually came up with ways that they could change it. And it got a bit better when I did it the way but it still wasn't right. By the way, now I'm still tweaking it and I've just about got it to work. But the problem is that the curtains are not wide enough. So this is just like, is this my problem? Is the fact that they needed an extra panel my problem or theirs? What do you think? And it's probably going to be that they bring me 2 panels. You know why? Because it probably comes in a set of 2. And that would solve the problem. The question is, will it hold the weight then? I don't know. But we'll keep playing with it. I don't have to take it too seriously. It is better than the bubble wrap that I've had. And bubble wrap really makes, it's a very nice imitation of netting for your curtain, for your windows, if ever you're stuck. As Steve Maraboli, we quote him a lot, says, the strong-minded rise to the challenge of their goals and dreams. The weak-minded become haters. The weak-minded become haters. How many of you understand that? Strong people are not haters. People with character don't become haters. People with coping skills don't become haters. People with emotional intelligence don't become haters. And Jodie is saying, in answer to my question, whose problem is it? And she's saying it's theirs, but you were dealing with the consequences if you didn't speak up. Yes, and so I just took a photo because, I know the boss man's going to say, what's wrong, Sal? And I'll say, let me send you the photograph. I think it speaks volumes, right? And what I will do is say, any ideas, all right? Because that's really, maybe he's got an idea that I don't know about. Or maybe they have to do something different. I don't know. All I know is it definitely isn't working. What I have done now is I've left a gap one end so that I can get the middle to close properly. But obviously it's not my intent to have the sun gaping through the one side either, but it'll do for now. The girl with 7 names, she was a North Korean defector. She said, I hope you remember that if you encounter an obstacle on the road, don't think of it as an obstacle at all. Think of it as a challenge to find a new path on the road less traveled. Right? Think of it as a challenge. As some of you heard at lunchtime, I've got my rolling TV cart all done. The only problem is the brackets don't fit my TV properly. And I'm not hanging my TV up on there because, it'll be too heavy. And so either I've got to get a new TV now. By the way, I found out I've lost a TV I think I've lost a TV anyway. When I was unpacking, I used to have a TV in the studio. Not that I ever turned it on, but I'm pretty sure I have the cable connected there in case I have visitors that I can put a television in there and hook it up. So I may have to get another television now so that I can have my rolling cart working. And then I will put the one from the living room into the bedroom. That means I can have Roku in the bedroom. It's all a process, isn't it? And the trick is, do I have to have it fixed this week? No, I found that my dining room chair works really well as a TV holder at the moment. It works, and I can just turn it wherever I want it to be. It's working quite well for the time being. The other one is a work in progress. So when we look at challenges, I want you to be aware that they are only as difficult as we make them. I said at lunchtime that my remote key, remember I bought that little folding keyboard so that I could use when I went to bed with my tablet or whatever. It works like a charm, so happy with it. But here I am, one of the keys is already not working. So I wrote to the manufacturer and I said, hey guys, I got this on February the 18th, and here is the picture of the delivery from Amazon showing, that they delivered that item. And, one of the keys isn't working. And I just said, is there a workaround for this? Or do you have another solution, i.e. send me one that doesn't have that problem, guys? And I'm still waiting to hear from them, and I will. So I look at these challenges and go, this has been a challenging week, Suddenly finding out yesterday that I wasn't going to have any electricity for 4 hours was a challenge, right? I didn't expect it, and I hadn't had food, and all sorts of things, I hadn't done stuff that I needed electricity for, and suddenly I didn't have electricity for 4 hours because they needed to recertify the electrics in the house. For a moment I had a little, it would have been nice to get some warning of this, but I didn't. So let me just take a deep breath and let's try again, and then I quickly looked to see how much charge I had in my phone, how much charge I had in my tablet, and I had both of them up to about over 90%. And I went, okay, that'll last me for 4 hours and keep me out of mischief. Be amazed the games I could play when I need to. So the challenge is not to panic or to panic for as little time as possible. And I would say that I was talking to Yvonne. For those of you who heard the story, Yvonne had a fire at the house that I used to own. The neighbor behind us, their shed caught fire and caught the fences on fire. And the fence going one way caught on fire, and the main fence going back to where Yvonne is, that caught fire next to all the way up to the shed. And the next thing would have been the shed go, and then the house would go. And the scary thing was Yvonne only had one way out, and that was along where that fire was. And I was able to tell her, this is what's going to happen in the next few days. And by the way, if you smell smoke, you're going to get triggered. Just know that. You have every reason to get triggered. The same as I will get triggered every time I smell smoke. And so will Jeannie, anybody who's been in a fire, the smell of smoke is a trigger. I had, when they were redoing all the electrics in the house, they had to test all the fire alarms again. And guess what happened to my body? My body got triggered, even though my mind knew it was just a test and it was okay. My body reacted. And I think it was part of the reason I had the ocular migraine. So what do? I can't fix it unless I behave myself, right? To get rid of the ocular migraine, I need to stop and lie down and behave myself. That's do nothing. Jody, you made some snippy little comment about the fact that the reason that I overdo it is because you only sit still for 30 seconds every 6 hours. I actually pace myself better than you think I do, Jody. But I must admit, quite often when I say I'm going to stop for an hour, it's normally 30 minutes. I will admit to that. But I do try and make sure that I do stop. And I'm not quite sure why my hips are feeling it so badly or my sciatic nerves feeling it so badly, but there must be a reason. And, I'm living on... Jody's saying that wasn't meant to be snippy at all. It was a compliment. I know it was, honey. Yeah, but it sounded like it was much better as a snippy comment. I should know you better. You'd never do that to me. How about this one? Life keeps throwing me curveballs and I don't even own a bat. How many of you felt like that? At least my dodging skills are improving. Do any of you feel like that? I like that. Keeps throwing me curveballs and I don't even own a bat, That was me yesterday. It was like, really? And now what? And, do not ask that question. Because somebody up there hears you and goes, oh, you want more? Here you go. And I go, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to say that. And I've stopped saying it's time for a break. I realize, what am I doing? Time for a break? You know what I'm going to bring on if I keep saying that? Do any of you get what I'm talking about? It's like, I've been looking at how many things have I found broken because I keep saying it's time for a break. And then I open up, a parcel and guess what? One of the pieces of glass is broken and I go, time for a break. Yeah. So we're going to stop using that expression in this house. It's not going to happen. Time to rest, not time for a break. And then somebody said, Beth Fantasky said, why did I sign up for this? Do any of you feel like that some days? But how about this one? One word of encouragement can be enough to spark somebody's motivation to continue with a difficult challenge, right? And I want to say that that is something that I have learned. For example, the TV stand wasn't working last week because the legs were the wrong way around. Okay, sleep on it. Sleep on it, don't panic. And then, I realized, I was going to have to undo it all and put it back together again. By the way, I made a plan, so I didn't have to undo it all, but I undid quite a bit and put the legs back the right way. That went beautifully. Then I got it all built up right to the top, and then I found out the brackets don't fit my TV. And then I went, okay, don't panic. Just a TV stand. And one of two things. You're going to make another plan. It definitely is the item that you wanted. The fact that it doesn't fit your TV is something else. Obviously, I can't put my TV from my bedroom because that isn't a smart TV. And I'm spoiled now. I need a smart TV. I may have to buy a new one. And by the way, isn't it wonderful the price of TVs these days? As long as you don't want a 55-inch, if you're happy with about 32, you can get them for under $200 with all the bells and whistles. And, they do windows as well. You know what I mean? It's just like amazing. Kimmy's saying, I had to use the things I have learned in here this week, all right? Because the online banking sent my money to the wrong company. Yes, Kimmy, and you coped. Well done, all right? And I'm certain they didn't do it intentionally. And I'm certain it was very inconvenient. But as I have said time and time again, getting angry didn't fix it. Getting rude to people won't fix it. Basically, they need to understand that something went wrong. Would you please hurry up and fix it and get that money back into my account? By the way, I don't know how you did it, but I literally have said, you know, you're a bank, you've got money, put money back in my account while you solve the problem. Because it's not my problem, it's yours. Yeah, so find that $200 you just took from me and put it back in my account, and then give yourself the money back when you fix the problem. You know, it's just like, oh no, we can't do that. And I'm going, you got to be joking. I saw your profits this year. I know you can do that. The question is, will you? Will you? It's petty cash, people. You know, it's not like, you know, 2 million. It's like $200 that you sent there. I don't know how much they sent the wrong way, Kimmy, but you understand. It's just like being rude to them doesn't do it, but actually being logical sometimes does. I don't need to run away from a challenge because I'm afraid. Instead, I run towards it because the only way to escape fear is to trample it beneath your feet. All right, so Kimmy's saying, I have to wait for the company that it was sent to return it to me. Yeah, right. I, quite honestly, you know, if they made the mistake, that's their problem, not yours. They said it'll take 2 weeks. Well, anyway, the main thing is suck it up, do what you have to do. 2 weeks from now, it won't be a problem, right? And get on with your life. That is the trick. Get on with your life. Don't fester with it and get angry. Well done, Kimmy. Do I hear a challenge? She whispers. You know I can't resist a challenge. How many of you know that what you see before you here is all about a challenge? Is it possible to do this? Jody will remember when I said, I don't know how to do this. And the reason she talked about the little 1 inch by 1 inch squares is I started learning how to do this on little bits of paper that I cut up. And I started to work out, how do I do this, that it makes those cells, that it makes, you know, those incredible, you know, lacing effects and everything else. And I did it on copy paper. And, you know, I look at it and I remember saying to you with this one, and this is what I think you all will appreciate, is that on this one, if you remember, sorry, it's just a bit heavy. These bubbles, can you see them? They look like craters on the moon. You see those? Have I got it at the right angle? I want you to know that when I blew that little piece up, you remember it started off as a 1 inch center of a flower, or this one was part of a leaf, and I blew it up so much that what you're seeing is the air bubbles in the paint. That's what those craters are. Isn't that amazing? So I would say that part of my joy in life is that I do ask the question, what if I what if I try growing spinach in a Tetra Pak? Will it work? And I go, there's one way to find out. Why don't you try it? I am prepared for it not to work. And then I went, I don't think that looks very pretty. So can I paint a Tetra Pak? Apparently the answer is yes. I think that looks a whole lot better black, don't you? Can I grow savory in a wine glass? The answer is yes. So to me, I see everything. I think I take it pretty personally. You want me to keep buying this stuff? You want me to keep buying all this hydroponic equipment? Yeah, right. You don't know that I'm Sal. I just needed to buy it to find out what there is there, so then I can work out how to help my viewers do it on a budget. And so the trick is, I think the answer is pretty easily, don't you? How many of you got way too many glasses in your house, all right? That you used to use for entertaining, but we don't do that anymore. And so obviously I'm going to be looking at the dollar store for lots of champagne flutes, and then I will paint them black so that the algae doesn't get to them. And by the way, how many of you, I've never tried it either, savory. I've never tried it, but you know, I thought, well, that's a challenge. Let me try it. I'll let you know, Jody, what it tastes like. It might be a couple of months, but I'll let you know what it tastes like. But you know, it's like when I go to the dollar store, I'm going to be picking up more champagne flutes if I can find them. I think they do have them. Because obviously it's a great way to grow things. And how many of you can understand that, you know, if I can get this turned into a really nice lettuce, you know, it's not a bad present to give somebody. Would covering the glass with foil work? Yeah, of course it would. But I would like to say that painting it would be much quicker. And then you could paint it to match your color scheme. Of course, I got a lot of gray. So I look at it and go, all right. And this one is still like this, but can you imagine if this is already growing and making real tomatoes? Is that a nice gift to give somebody? If it's in a champagne flute and it's you got your own little mini, who wouldn't want a mini tomato making machine? What do you think? Would you like that as a gift if somebody did all the work? And really, it's nature that does the work. I just have to work out how to get it far enough so that it will survive. That's the trick with me. Can I keep it alive long enough so that it can do tomatoes? If you remember last year, Tommy the tomato gave me tomatoes by the end of the season. It was so exciting. And even after the fire and into October, you know, because I left at the end of September, I came back in October and there was another tomato there. And I had it. I took it back and I ate it. And I loved it on principle. He didn't make it through the winter, by the way. So look at life and look at the challenges. I know that I would not have this collection of art behind me if I didn't accept the odd challenge. And if I didn't go, what if I used, and I've done it, what if I used olive oil? Would that work? And the WD-40, I tried. What else? Silicone, machine oil, for your sewing machine. I tried that, the silicone. I literally have, there's certain hair products that have oils in them. Jody will know the names of them, argan oil and things. They work really well as well. Oh, I found castor oil works well. Now I've got to start all over again because I've lost all my notes on what worked and what didn't. But it won't take me long to find that out again. But do I want to carry on painting if I'm not selling a couple? I think the reason I need to sell a couple is so I got room to make more mess. But it's going to be a little while. So the challenge that you have, look at it. Sandy, let me ask you, the challenges that you've had with your diabetes going out of whack the way that it did, I keep thinking, was it in a way helpful that it happened during a pandemic where you didn't feel the need to be rushing around all the time, that you actually had time to look after yourself? What do you think? Because I was trying to imagine what that scare would have been like if you had, had so many things on the go as well. If you were out and about trying to live a normal life at the same time as dealing with all those ups and downs that were happening with your machine that does your insulin. And I'm hoping that that has settled down for you. You didn't give us an update, so I'm hoping that it did. Let us know. So people, Jody, you got an infection this week that you didn't plan, and it was painful. And as usual, you did not complain, and you did not make a big fuss about it. You just went and saw the doctor and got what you needed to get sorted out. I think we all need to know that we can cope with the challenges as long as we get off the hamster wheel and just deal with what needs to be dealt with. So Sandy's saying that she's still dealing with high numbers. And what do your medical people suggest you do with it, Sandy? Because again, we know it's not because of what you're eating, right? Or is that what they're saying, that you've got to change your diet to bring it down? I don't know, because I'm not talking to them, but you are, I hope. And we will keep needing to adjust, as Sandy is keeping this adjustment going until she gets this machine to work properly with her body. It's not that the machine isn't working properly or that her body isn't working properly, just the combination of the two just are not in sync right now. And so her numbers are higher than they should be, and she's trying to control that. And it's scary stuff. So take the challenge on, Sandy. Keep calm as you can. I know how scary it must be. Well, I don't know. But I got an idea that I think I know roughly how scary it must be. Because, every night you must be terrified. Will it go down enough that I can go to sleep and not worry about, not waking up in the morning? Oh, you haven't spoken to your medical people. I'm adjusting my settings on my pump almost daily to give me more insulin. I would be talking to some people who know what they're talking about, Sandy. Now, I was presuming that you had a team of people who understood what was going on and were advising you. How wrong I can be. All right, so Sandy, let me ask you the smart question. Why are you not talking to them? You must have a reason. Why have you not spoken to them? What is the fear? Because I would remind you that it is the job of these professionals to advise us. You've done everything you can to get those numbers down, and you haven't been able to. All right? And you are tweaking your settings on your insulin pump. So I would say it's probably, it's your life, or worse. So maybe you could challenge yourself to actually talk to the experts this week, and or book the appointment to talk to them anyway, and just say, look, this is what is happening. I've tried not to panic about it. I've tried to control it. This is what I've been doing, and it's still not coming down. Could you give me your input? What should I be trying next? It is your right, Sandy, to have a team of people care about you. All right, so great answer. Sandy's saying that it's the basal insulin in a constant drip. I am increasing that. It is my job to tweak it. They will tell me to take more insulin. But Sandy, if I heard you correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, you get scared because if you tweak it too much, that could be just as dangerous for you. So maybe you need a little conversation with them going, guys, I know it's my job and I've been doing that, but I do get scared about, and tell them what it is that scares you. You know, I get scared that if I overset the pump with insulin, that I might not wake up in the morning. So I need to know more about this pump and what it does, and more about what will happen if I overdose. Right? I think it's time for you to have that conversation with the experts, but you can also not do it. It's your life and your choice. So I just believe, really, in my heart of hearts, and I hope I'm sort of not being too much of a mother hen here, but I do believe that you deserve a bit of support on this one and a bit more input from the experts, either the experts with the machine or your medical people. I know that you have tried so hard and it's not working for you, and you must be getting tired of trying it and when you don't get the right result. So that's what medical professionals are for. It is their job to advise you. It is not you being a pain or being stupid or not doing it right. It's like, help me here. What do I need to try next? So please think about that. I'm going to go and make myself some more ice cream now. This is DearMamaSal saying, I love you dearly. We all face challenges every day, every week, every month. And as we know, because we get together so regularly, we all take turns in having a challenging week. And my challenges are probably not nearly as difficult as some of yours. The reason that I talk about mine is so that you can talk about yours and understand it's how we deal with it that's important. Sandy's saying the amount I'm taking in basil isn't much. It's when I dose myself for food that I fear I will drop. At this point, it's sort of an irrational fear. I know I need more insulin. I think that's the conversation I would urge you to have and go, guys, this is where my fear is. It may be irrational, but it is real to me. I have the fear that I will do this wrong and kill myself accidentally, if that is what your fear is. And I wouldn't be embarrassed about it. I just go, and I'm probably not the first one. So let me know what the parameters are. How far can I pump this insulin in? It's a pleasure, Kimmy. I hope that you found some joy out of seeing the artwork again. And thank you for asking for it. It helped me unpack 2 boxes today, which is my goal every day, as you know. This is DearMamaSal saying, we can do this, guys. We can hold each other's hands and we can deal with the challenges together. And Kimmy, thank you for being here. Oh, I wanted to mention, out of nowhere, suddenly, I have had about 4 or 5 different emails from Nana recently. So maybe we will see her again. This is DearMamaSal saying, look after one another, but please look after yourself, especially Sandy, who I want to give up to. With love. With velvet glove. Yeah, but really, get some help, Sandy, for goodness sake. We'll see you on Sunday. This is DearMamaSal saying thanks for your time. You felt that, Sandy. Bye-bye for now.